All right, got the makings of what we're going to start making. Cornhole board, a set of cornhole boards. I got 4 1x4s. I got 2 3/4 inch birchwood plywood. What I really wanted something thick, try to help with the bounce. Got some lag bolts in here, some washers, some wing nut screws. So what I'll start doing is cutting the wood, getting the frame out, and we'll go from there. Okay, what I'm getting ready to do now is I've measured out the length that I want the runner boards to be, and I need those to be 48 inches. And then I've measured out the distance between the runner boards to be the short boards at 22.5. So I'm going to cut the wood all to those lengths, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, taking out my square here, drew my line, getting ready to cut out the short board. I've measured it at a little over 22.5. To get the size that we want. So now what I'll do is I'll use the board that I just cut. I'll use that as the kind of the template. I'll line it up, I'll come down, put my mark on it. Got a mark, come over, we'll line it up. Cut it. Check size, and perfect. Lines up perfectly. Okay, I got the frames framed out. I got a Kreg Jig that's coming. I'll get back with the Kreg Jig. I'll do the pocket holes. I'll get the frames put together. We'll get it attached to the board, and we'll be on our way. Okay. So cut them all out. The long bent boards were right around 48 inches. The short boards were just a little bit over 22.5. The problem is you go and buy pre-cut plywood. You think you're getting 24 by 48, and you don't. You might get 24.25 or 48 and almost a half. And so you really have to measure before you go in and make any cuts. Right now that we've cut all of our boards to length, what we want to do is be able to do our pocket holes. I've got my Kreg Jig set up. I'll show you here in a second how you arrange and set the settings on the Kreg Jig, but we'll just take it, lock it in, and we're only going to put the pocket holes in the small sides of the board. Take it, flip it over. What I've got my Kreg Jig set to is I've got it set to 3/4 of an inch on the jig, and I've got it set for 3/4 of an inch on the drill stock, and I'll show you that as well. And so we'll just keep plugging along, finishing the pocket holes, and we'll come back to you when we're ready to assemble. Okay, All right, so how you set up your Kreg Jig is there's on the side here, it's got measured and thickness of how you're going. The board I'm using is about 3/4 of an inch thick, which is what I mostly cut. So there's a little bolt here. You can loosen this, pull it up, raise it down. But once you get it on the desired thickness, you tighten it up. Then you come over to the drill bit here, and you see I've got the stop on there. And the drill bit goes to, it's stopping right at that 3/4 of an inch, not all the way down to where it starts the pilot hole, but where the real drill bit starts. And those two match up, and then you can drill good pocket holes. So, okay, we're gonna just continue plugging away on our pocket holes, and we'll see you back when it's ready for assembly. All right, we finished drilling our pocket holes and our short boards. So what I'm going to do now is come back along and drill some holes down the bottom to be able to attach to the plywood. And so what I'm going to try to do is get these holes, and you just need to do one, but just as closely as I can to the two that I made for the side. And I'm going to put 3 holes in the short board, and then we'll come back and we'll do the long board. Okay, we'll come back and we'll do the long boards. I've already marked them off where I've got them every 6 inches. And so we'll just go along and plug the holes into that. Now we're just plugging in the pocket holes for the long board. And I'll tell you, if you pre-mark them ahead of time, this will go ahead and it'll help a lot, just be able to line that up. Like I said, you want to do it about every 6 inches or so. We've got our pocket holes now into that. I'll decide if I want to put some a little closer, maybe down here as we go along, but we're going to finish doing these holes and then we'll come back for assembly. All right, we've got all of our pocket holes drilled. What I'm going to do now, since the boards are not assembled yet, is I'm going to take a sander, just run a quick sand over it. It's always easier, I think, to do that before they're assembled. So what we'll do is we'll finish sanding these up and then we'll be right back with you for assembly. All right, we're doing assembly right now. What I've done is I've got an Irwin clamp that allows me to butt it up to 90 degrees. The thing about doing these, I don't have one of those pocket joint clamps. So I wanted to make sure that I got this in. So I clamped that in. What I did is then I put this on top of it, and then with just a kind of a bar ratchet clamp, I just tightened that up, and then went in and put a pocket hole screw in. So got that tightened down. So what I'm going to do now is move along to the next ones. Hey, the other thing I should have mentioned is make sure you put wood glue in the joints too, just to kind of help with strength. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna come in and put some wood glue. Run it along that board, and I'll run it along this one as well. And then what we'll do is we'll come in, get it lined up, and we'll tighten. And sometimes what you need to do is just make sure you can get it up. Kind of hard to do sometimes when you're doing this just one person. That's okay. We'll adjust. And then we'll take our clamp here to make sure that that's really locked in. And then we'll screw it in. I've got the board assembled. I've got glue on it. This is really where it would come in handy to have an extra person, but I don't have an extra person. So we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna try to line it up as best we can on the plywood. Getting it as level and as even as we can. Okay. What I'm going to do is go ahead and load in a screw here just to help keep it still, so I can then come around, still get it leveled in other places. So let me go ahead and get a screw in here. Down here, get a screw in. And then we'll come down here on this end and put a screw in. Okay. What I'll do now is just go around and just go ahead and lay in the screws, and we'll come back around and drill it. Okay, got all my screws positioned in, so I'm just going to go around now and tighten them all up. Here's an area when you're doing it, take this little bit here and turn it down as low as you can. Or as low, so it won't continue driving the screw through the wood and have a possibility of poking through the other side. Okay, I just cut off 4 pieces of my 1x4, 12 inches. That's what I'm going to be doing to get the legs. I'll come back with you here shortly and we'll show you how we get the measurements for the legs. Okay, for the leg, what I did is I measured 1 3/4 over and 1 3/4 down, and that's how I got the center. So I'm going to drill a hole in that. That'll be the pilot for the lug nuts to be able to put into our table. So hang tight. Okay, what I've done is just drilled a little pilot hole with a smaller drill bit just to make sure my larger drill bit can get in there okay. And that's going to fit our 3/8 lag nut bolts. And so here we'll come in and do this. Might be time for me to sharpen the old drill. Okay, got that through. What I had forgot to do is change my torque again on the drill. So we're going to do this for the rest of the legs, and we'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, next step is get something round. It could be a coffee mug, it could be a compass, and then just you want it to kind of be as wide as the board, and just come over and trace that out. And then we're going to take our jigsaw and we're going to cut that out. Okay, we've got the jigsaw. We're going to come around here and cut this out. We can always finish that up on the sand. Okay, got my legs cut out and shaped up, and so what I did is I came inside the board. I used just a little piece of the 1x4 to put in there as a spacer. Then I drilled through, did the same thing for the other side. So what I'm going to do now is come in and we're going to put in one of these lag bolts. I'm going to put a washer on the inside. I'm going to slide the lip through. I'm going to put another washer. And then I've got wing nuts that I need to get. I'm going to come in and put on the wing nut here. I recognize this lag bolt's a little too big, but that's okay. I'll cut that down. Tighten that up. And all right, let's come over to the other side. Let's see if we can give you a better view here. Take our lag bolt. Take a washer. Take a leg. This is, pull this up a little bit. Okay. Put the washer on this side and we'll tighten up this lug nut, wing nut. Okay. So you saw that was running a little bit tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this leg off. I'm going to sand that down a little bit more. But I'm going to show you how to measure for the right height of the legs. All right, to get how you should cut the leg, you just come, you stack this up. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get it to 12 inches, right there, boom, 12 inches. And so then what you do is you just take this, right there, you get a pencil. You take your pencil, you come across, and then you just draw across there, and then we'll go cut our leg, and that should be exactly 12 inches. So we'll be back when we're done. Okay, how you know how to mark the hole is you come 9 inches down and you mark. And then this board is 24 inches. And so at that 9 inches, you come 12 inches across and you mark there. And then we'll see you when we're ready to drill. Okay, I've got a little secret weapon to get my hole. I've got a 6-inch hole saw. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually drill a pilot hole to get this in there first. Okay, I've got the pilot hole drilled. We'll come in here now. All right, here we go. I'm going to switch drills. I just don't think this drill has enough torque. gotta be patient, slow and steady as she goes. Okay, got them built. See, that hole maker really does have it come out perfectly. And they're all level, straight. So stay tuned for the next video to see what I do next.